thank you for the invitation. Thank you for being here at the Codecamp e-conference, the one with DevOps. As the previous speaker mentioned, it's quite a really good energy. And other than that, I think that the whole speaker list is quite impressive. So kudos for you guys on what you have done within those 2 days, and I hope I'll be at least at the same level with some of the speakers. So today, my name is Adrian Suteu, and we'll talk about lead like a DevOps with a Ferguson formula. And within the next 30 minutes, I guess, I will share my experience and what and how Ferguson has inspired me to lead the teams and the organization in the last 5.5, 6 years. First of all, I go within an introduction, then a short presentation of me, then an intro to understand a bit the context of this presentation, what I want to exemplify from leadership, then the whole DevOps context, and other than that, the last one, who Alex Ferguson is. Next, we'll go within the actual content with the formula, the principles, and how I have used them, and how Ferguson has used them. And in the last part, we'll have a conclusion. And I hope everybody will go out with something from this presentation. Okay, so Adrian Suteu, as I have mentioned at the beginning, I'm a group leader at Bosch Engineering Center, and I'm leading a cloud solution organization. I will get into a few details in a few minutes there. I have a vast experience within the local software industry, more than 13 years. I have worked in the university and other than that in some local companies. I have a strong background within infrastructure, cloud, DevOps processes, then as continuous integration, continuous delivery. And within this period of time, I have multiple roles on the engineering side. And in the last 5.5 years, I've led teams of engineering, of infrastructure, DevOps engineers. And in the last period of time, I'm leading an organization with cross-functional teams. As a passion in the area of work, definitely I can say that I'm passionate about processes. I'm passionate about processes which can help us to increase our velocity and to increase our quality in our day-to-day work. Other than that, I think that I'm quite passionate about technology and the ways of hooking the technology up now and in order to deliver what we want. And on the last part is practically working with people, which, if I start prioritizing things, is mostly the most important one. And I hope that in the next years I continue with this area and try to merge the process and the technologies on driving the organization. In my spare time, I like to travel with friends. I like to read, and other than that, do some endurance sports. I'm a big fan of running, cycling, and swimming, and nature, of course. Getting within my actual position at this point, I'm leading an organization within the engineering center within the Bosch Engineering Center. And as you may know, most probably within our engineering center, which is located in Cluj, in Jucu, and nowadays also in Bucharest, we are delivering mostly classic automotive topics, but other than that, we are really specialized in data science, data engineering, machine learning, and nevertheless cloud solution, which within this area we are offering, let's say, additional functions to the electrical vehicle world. Practically charging point station management system, battery monitoring and optimization system. So cloud solution that are auxiliary to the classic automotive part. Okay, now going into the actual facts. When within this presentation, at first I will want to tackle the leading part, the DevOps part, and who Alex Ferguson is. And about leading, I can say that yes, uh, it's a leadership mostly presentation, but I will not try to give you some definition and theories and so on. It's just some experience that I want to share with you and some influence that I got from this person and how I have used them, and maybe you can use them also. So practically the whole leadership experience is something that most of us are still on the path to achieve this goal, to be a great leader. And there are many steps, but let's say the first from my experience, the first two statements that we have when we are getting a leadership position is that at first we are trying, and for sure we are avoiding doing to others what has been done wrong to us. And I think that the next obvious step is to find a mentor, someone who impressed us, an example, and follow what we've seen from him, the good points from him, and trying to implement within our day-to-day work. And that's why we are discussing today about the principles from the Ferguson formula, because it's a leader which impressed me in the last period of time. Okay, now going to the next step, we are at the DevOps e-conference. Within this talk, I will not going into the details on technologies, processes, and so on. We're mostly focusing on the leadership part, and that's why here I can and I come with a definition of DevOps that came from Adam Jacobs somewhere in 2015. One of the definitions, because there are many, unfortunately, that I like the most. It's that DevOps is a cultural and professional movement focused on how we build and operate high velocity organization. Sorry, born from the experience of its practitioner. So practically here we can see that it's something related on driving and driving an organization, a project, or a team. And in this next period of time, I will talk you about leading an organization and my experience. And then getting into who Alex Ferguson is. For big football fans, I think that there are no surprises here or who he is. But for the ones who don't know, he was the manager for a very important British club, Manchester United, for 26 years. Within this period, definitely he was the most decorated coach from the UK, and he was coach for more than 1,000 games. And within these 1,000 games and those 26 years, he won definitely all the competition that could be won at a club level. And more than that, as a coach, he created from Manchester United quite an important brand of those days. So he was not only a football coach, but he was also a manager for everything. Now getting within this actual formula, here you can see some principles, and these principles came after a study made in 2012, the last year when he was coaching this team, made by Harvard Business Review together with some people with him, of course, and some people around him, players, ex-players, and other than that, people from his personal life. We can see here 8 principles that I'll take the liberty to, let's say, cluster them in four clusters. On the first look here, the first right side, we can go, the left upside, start with the foundation, then dare to rebuild your team. I would put that as a cluster of building your team, building your organization. Then going a little bit down, you can see that we have set the high standards and hold everyone to them, and never ever Cede Control. Here I will create a cluster of related to quality, quality management and continuity within your team and your organization. Then looking into the right side, we can see that we have two statements: match the message to the moment and prepare to win. Practically, these 2 points are related to the communication and the empathy to the team. And the last two of them rely on the power of observation and never stop adapting. Should refer this point to the I, let's say, to the person and the area of growing as a leader. So we can see a great lifetime with creating the team, setting some standards and looking at the quality, and then the empathy part with the team, which concludes with the power of observation, which it incorporates all of them. Now we are going through them, through each of them. I can say that we have here some principles. Not all of them are 100% applicable to our industry, or not all of them definitely will give us benefits, but let's see exactly how they helped me in driving these DevOps organizations. Okay, start with the foundation. I think that it's so since he has joined the team in 1986, actually. He was researching to check what's the let's say the balance on the seniority level within his team, and he sees that there is quite an, let's say, old team. And once he saw this, he started investing a lot in youngsters. He started investing a lot in very young players, creating an environment to build the future of the team, of the organization, of the entire Manchester United brand. He practically worked on new coaches, on new competition for the young teams, and having a scouting and practically a recruitment strategy to look within the whole United Kingdom, afterwards in Europe, and then on the whole globe about on different talents. And I think that comparing with us in the industry, this is something that we are definitely doing, and we should do it very fast within our leadership position, because it's something building and creating people around you, juniors, that at a certain point will become seniors, is something very important. With your strategy in mind, you will have the right technical skills to let's say tackle in the first period of time and create a path for them. Here, what is very important to realize is that all the time we should have a balanced view on the team seniority. So you cannot create with all the programs in the world a good team if a junior will not have near him a senior or someone to share his technical experience and his life experience, and that's why we should take a close look at balancing these two. Other than the actual technical skills, we should look on investment on the process, methodologies, approaches, and definitely the social bonding. Of course, within our team and within our company, we have a certain culture, and that's why we need to have these people part of our culture. We need to make the culture, to embrace them, and them to feel part of that culture. Regarding the foundation part, one of the greatest things that Ferguson said from my perspective is that the job of the leader is to inspire the people to be better. I think that this is quite important for us also, and we definitely can see that ones. We definitely are, let's say, proud when we are able to build some people around us to help them grow within their career, and we are really proud when we see some successes on their personal life and on their professional life also, or most specifically here. Now here, if we are looking within the whole DevOps mindset, uh, and DevOps technologies and approaches, nowadays the foundation is quite important, because now we mostly take young people and we throw them in the hands of latest and new technologies without uh, taking the time to invest in how, let's say, things are working in behind for them to understand exactly what they are doing. I think this is another important point that we should take here with start with the foundation. What I want to exemplify in the end is that on this part, you should never focus on short-term wins, because practically this is the way you are building your team, your organization in the future. This is the foundation of everything. The next principle going forward is there to rebuild your team, and definitely goes hand in hand with the previous one. And we all know that within our organization and within our teams, on different times, we have ups and downs. We have people who are taking new challenges. We're having people who are definitely being promoted within our organization, or their priorities are changed, and that's why we need to figure it out ways to cover these gaps. I definitely think that this could be easily done with junior people. This could be easily done with being really smart and invest a lot in recruiting new people. But more than these two, it's to take care of the core people around whom you are able to build the new teams. Uh, within the Manchester experience, and within those 26 years, Alex Ferguson was able to create five winning teams with whom he had won the internal and international competitions. But very important here is that on each team, he had players in the core team who are part of different generations. So you always need to have that core people that are part of your team, are part of your culture, and are always there with you. So don't forget to invest in them. Other than that, one thing that we should learn from him on this side is regarding the team maturity and team max velocity. He considered that in football, let's put it like this, a team can be at their peak of value not more than 3 to 4 years. And if there are no, let's say, natural changes, people leaving or something like that, you definitely need to do something there. You need to make a change to have an impact on the team moral, on the team bonding. Next, we are getting to the more, I think, that hard to implement part of these principles, comparing with the whole football strategy. Um, it's setting high standards within your organization and hold everyone to them. I think that still we have we can put it a sensitive software industry in Romania, but definitely within your organization you need to set some standards. You need to set some standards, and these standards should be quite clear, should be quite transparent, and everybody should stick to them. It's important when you are building it to take it, I think, that stepwise, not pushing things too much at the beginning, but in time, don't forget that these standards, these expectations can be increased, and you can work on them, which is your responsibility as a leader, and which is your maybe leadership team responsibilities. Why I have said that it's quite hard to compare with the football part, it's because within his career, Sir Alex Ferguson was able to lay off some of his players who were not part of his mindset, and other than that, he was able to do this with all the superstars. But this is not something that we should tackle at this point. Okay, going forward with the fourth principle is something that maybe I disagree the most with. Never ever Cede Control. Maybe because I'm not in the area of a control freak as a leader, or if I was something like that as an engineer. But I think that this can be implemented at high standards with quite good class. I think that we should focus here on the communication. We should start from these standards, and afterwards try to keep everybody there. And in this way, with those standards, with a proper communication and information, you can have everything on your plate as a leader, even if at sometimes you lose control of some things, but you are doing for the greater good. Okay, here's something again that I was not agree with Mr. Ferguson, was related to the fact that he said that at a certain point, if a player becomes much important than a manager, then someone needs to leave. And within his case, every time a player left and he remained. So this is something that I do not agree with it, but definitely having everything under supervision, something quite important in the leadership role. And other than that, within the whole DevOps area, practically control means, from my perspective, information, being up to date with everything what happens, having a proper measurement and monitoring about all the pieces. Now, getting within the part on the empathy, we have two principles that I've put them together regarding the match the message to the moment and prepare to win. I think that these are the parts where you need to build the trust within your team, going a lot on the positive part, maybe going a lot on the positive psychology, as I have learned in the last weeks. But this trust should be also one with criticism and with openness, which I think that it's something that everybody likes. And as he mentioned here, I think that we as leaders are also, sometimes we need to be a doctor, sometimes we need to be a teacher, sometimes we need to be a father. Maybe fatherhood not within our industry, but also close friendship. It's important in some moments. About preparing to win, on at least on my side, most of the time we need to make our people to be bold when they need to, and with this they need to trust themselves that until after a certain point of development they are in a position to negotiate and challenge their tasks, to negotiate and challenge the product direction, to negotiate and challenge the company direction, and in this way they will be winners. This is what I like to think. This is what I like to communicate to my people. Now, Never stop adapting. I think that it's a principle quite obvious to him, because he was the manager of this team. For 26 years. A lot of things happened within the society this period of time, in technology, in football, and so on. So each time he needs to. So in a lot of times he needs to adapt. He needs to he started having doctors. He started having doctor clinics within the whole, very close to the players. He was there, one of the first coaching, using data as a measurement and learning about the team performance and about each individual performance and stuff like this. And I think for us, stop adapting is a key point. Most of the time, I think that not always the best one wins, but it wins the one who can adapt fastest. And within the software industry, with the technology that we have at this moment, with the quick development of the technology, and here I think that it doesn't matter the industry, with the let's say local markets from different towns, we always need to be prepared to adapt to a change. And I think that this coronavirus and practically the whole pandemic part in the last 1 year and 7-8 months put us for more than 1 year in a crisis situation where we needed to adapt in our way we communicated to our teams, in our way we set our message, in our way that we were able to compensate our people and so on. So being adaptable, it's critical. Okay, and the last principle, it's the one that I have found it the most important one, at least for me, maybe because nowadays I'm working on it and I'm trying to rely on the power of observation. I try to get out on the focus area and try to do a zoom out and see the big picture. And to accomplish this, we need to delegate, and trust others within their decision, which is quite obvious. And Ferguson said that with this you have the ability to see things that you don't even expect to see. I think this is quite an important way of shaping your leadership. For him, it was quite eye-opener, because at a certain point the coaches that he had with him, the team, were not working like at all. They said, "Boss, let us do our job. Let us do our job. Why you have hired us, and stay on the outside and see things." And I think that not being in the middle of the action all the time gives you the possibility to get out of that bubble and see things different, see how the whole team, how the whole environment is working, and then you can focus on different colleagues, different players. As a conclusion about these principles, when you are trying to lead a team, an organization, we have seen that at first you should focus on building a team. Then you should try to go on the quality management, set a certain expectation and keep to them. But also being empathic and trying to find the right message for the right moment, and nevertheless observe and start developing yourself as a leader. I don't think that this here or could be considered a cycle, because all the things should be done in parallel. Okay, and other than that, on my conclusion, don't focus on short-term wins, because leadership, as the whole DevOps mindset, is something that you cannot achieve in a short period of time, but you need to start focusing on 2 years, on 3 years, on 5 years, and afterwards build piece by piece everything. So I guess that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
as well.
you as well. Let me disable the screen so we can see Florian at his close to normal size.
Yay.
Yeah, it was very interesting because I always like this to see how principles or even practice sometimes are applicable across industries or disciplines. That's really, really cool. So, yeah, we got lean from manufacturing. Then you see Scrum being implemented in other areas not related to software development. It's quite cool.
Coming
Yeah, and
from
I think that
rugby, right? The term.
yeah,
Was.
yeah. And Alex Ferguson has two books that he had already written. One an autobiography, which is mostly obvious for someone like him, and other than that, a leading book that I definitely recommend to everybody to check it.
Cool. I made a note of it. Yeah, going back to his formula or the principles he laid out. Yeah, I was quite curious to see what you have to say for the part of not giving up control, especially since it goes a bit in contradiction with the one that's relying on the power of observation and delegating stuff. So they.
Yeah, I think that we are mostly how should I put it a sensitive industry nowadays, and going within a control freak way can scare your people. But you can do this by knowing things, by having all the information, by having all the, like comparing with some tools, having all the Jenkins pipelines that each time it's telling you what's the status of your product. That's something that I can call it control within DevOps, within technology.
Right. And yeah, it's also, I think, yeah, you need, as a leader, in this case, you need to create the context where the team or the individuals can evolve. But then probably this is what he means, and what you mean as well, you need to stay in touch with things and act
Exactly.
where it's needed to act, or
Yeah,
maybe create some broader constraints in which the team
exactly.
can evolve.
Stay in touch with things may summarize this perfectly.
Because I think when I was reading about this and saw an interview with him, he was actually saying that one of the things where he acted, let's say, like a control freak, was that when he fired Roy Keane just because he spoke against the team in several interviews after matches. Things got out of hand.
Yep.
All right. Well, this was an interesting incursion and
I think it's
football and DevOps
yeah,
zone.
I think it's applicable in many probably many industries. It's like all these life lessons, so to call them, are applicable in many. I don't know, software engineering as a whole, right? I mean,
Yeah, software engineering as
if
a
I get
whole.
it right, so I mean, you present it like DevOps here, like overall software engineering, right? And the entire
Exactly,
mindset.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
Okay, so DevOps, uh, the engineers overall, we got to
Football players.
football players,
In
yeah.
the end, yeah,
Yeah, and
no
practically
matter
how
how complex
how you
it
can
is,
compare Alex Ferguson's teams on the football level with the DevOps team. Practically everybody is working for every ball. Everybody is doing what needs to be done. That's what you mean by a proper DevOps mindset with cross-functional and cross-responsibility teams. You are engaged in everything for the good of the team. We all seen, let's say, Cristiano Ronaldo or Wayne Rooney doing defense. So practically, this is what cross-function and cross-responsibility teams should mean.
That's interesting and bringing up another point. So now people tend to be very specialized, aren't they? And I'm thinking of I don't know the Angular engineer and the React engineer, or I don't know if that applies there, or the front end engineer and the back end engineer.
Yeah, I think that it's a lot from the community where we are coming from and how we are wanting to, let's say, push people and push roles and approaches.
I think the truth or solution is somewhere in the middle. So it's good to have specialization on certain areas and
Definitely, it's
become
good.
an expert in that. But then you also have to have, I don't know, at least at some level, let's say, cross-cutting mindset and at least understand what the others are doing so you can work together and better cooperate.
Yep, yep. You always have a left defensor in a team, but someone else can do when needed that left defensor.
Exactly.
Okay, then I'll start learning React then and Angular. I'll do that
I
for
think
sure.
you should start watching football more. This
Or
might
that.
trigger something.
You're right. You're right. Okay, good.
All right. Thank you, Adrian. It's been
Thank you.
really nice. And yeah, see you again next time.
And
Yeah,
enjoy the
great.
sun if you
Yeah,
still
for
have.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye bye.